5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess. Oh, it's a mess.
Hello, everybody, and
Oh, it's a
welcome to the
mess.
podcast. It's a
Oh,
mess,
it's a
sis. So, what
mess.
exactly is a mess?
Oh,
A
it's a
mess is a
mess.
situation or a state of
Oh,
affairs
it's a
that is
mess.
confused or full of difficulties.
Oh, it's a
The
mess.
mess is when things don't go
Oh,
the
it's
way
a
you plan.
mess.
It is when you have to go off script,
5,
improvise,
6,
ad
7,
lib, sit
8.
through the
It's a
awkwardness,
mess.
and breathe through the pain until you
Oh,
come
it's a
out on the other
mess.
side, because you will come
Oh,
out
it's a
on the other
mess.
side. It is everything that makes
Oh, it's
life
a
interesting
mess.
and transformative. It is
Oh,
what
it's
we
a
are here to do.
mess.
It is how we learn
Oh,
how
it's
to
a
be.
mess.
So, join us as we
Oh, it's a
dive into this
mess.
week's mess.
Oh, it's a mess. Oh. Back to the podcast, Jessica, and I am a mess.
Sure
I
are.
am working. All right. I am working every day to discover who I am underneath this mess. I am a co host on my favorite podcast. I am a writer, a singer, and I'm doing it all while living in LA and figuring this shit out. I've had plenty of strategies about how things would go, but my life had other plans. So I'm wading through this mess with you guys, one thought provoking topic at a time.
And hey everyone, my name is Rena. I'm a social worker out of the DMV. I'm a writer, wannabe trap poet, wordsmith. I'm also into sneakers. Sneakers. Uh,
I like sneakers.
I'm a film buff, music junkie, photographer, and just overall content creator. I've been on my own self development journey for the past few years now. And this is my outlet that I'm using to share what I've learned, what I've struggled with, and what I continue to absorb because I believe that not only can it help me, it can help others who resonate with my story. I'm also working on developing my vision and purpose in life, which I've narrowed down to talking and writing shit and loving on people while getting paid for it. So this podcast is one of the ways I'm holding myself accountable to that.
Fucking dope. So that is a little bit about both Rena and myself. And this episode is actually episode 28. Can you believe we're at 28? It's wild. And that goes into our title, which is Reflections of Our Mess in 2020. We're just gonna take a look back and dive into all things 2020 and the reflection of that. But before we
Right.
get into that, we have a little segment that we call What's the Mess? And I'm gonna ask Rena, what's your mess?
Oh, I'm going first. Okay.
Always,
Oh
always.
man, I thought we were doing something new.
Did
Okay.
you?
I don't know why I thought that. So my mess is interesting. Well, it's not interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so today is the third anniversary of my mom's passing.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I almost didn't realize.
Wow. How are you
Um,
feeling?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it kind of like dawned on me last night,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, wait a minute, it's December, and I was like,
Yeah.
something happened around this time.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the date. I was like, oh crap, this is the day. So
Yeah.
it's been cool. Like my best friend reached out to me. I had another friend that I'm talking to later on today,
Hmm.
and it's like it just feels like the universe is like you trying to act all hard, but I
Yeah.
know this is a rough time. So I feel like I'm being really. I apologize for that. That's actually it's crazy. That's my cousin who just reached out to me.
Wow.
So I just feel like
The universe
kind
is
of
coming for you, like
yeah, in
not
a good
coddling you, but
way.
embracing you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being
Yeah.
surrounded by like love and care, and that's something that I realized like I really do want and need, and I
Yeah.
need to stop acting like that's not what I want. So,
Hmm.
it's been good. It's not sad,
Yeah.
And I got my braids,
Got
but
them braids.
I got
Come
my
through
braids. I know, right?
universe.
My hair got just long enough that they could grip it. So,
Yeah.
and it's been a wonderful mess. Like I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, "Oh my gosh, welcome back."
Oh my
Like,
God. That is so incredible.
right.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks. I'm happy for me too. I was like, okay. I was like, this makes sense. This makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, I've just been realizing as part of the whole reflections and everything, and we'll get into that. I don't even want to get into it too much, but I've just had a lot of reflection come up for me.
Yeah.
My mom with like the braids, with my image, just my sense of self. It's just been
Yeah.
a very reflective time for me. And it's
Wow. That's so dope. I'm so happy to hear that. That's incredible.
Thanks. Thanks.
And I'm giving you warm hugs also because of the passing of
Mhm.
your mom.
Thank
I know that that is difficult, but I am glad that the universe is surrounding you with people that love you, that care about you, and that you're acknowledging that you need and want that, so that you'll be receptive and accepting of the love that you're being shown. So,
you.
look at you growing up.
I
You're
know.
gonna
I'm
be an
trying.
adult after all.
I
34
know.
come through.
Dang. You know, let's put my age on blast out there.
Whoops, sorry.
I'll admit that don't matter.
Oh, you a mess. You a mess.
All right, what
Um,
about you? What's your mess? I know you got some. Because
wow.
that's what you said in your intro. I'm Jess and I'm a
Don't
mess.
try to act like you wasn't being shady. But anyways, I'm gonna just overlook that for this particular time. Um, but no, my mess this week is that my job is it's not looking like what I thought it would continue to look like. So I do delivery type work. So I do Postmates, if any of you are familiar with it, and the app has been glitching for a while, and I'm not making nearly what I was making, and that's gotten me thinking about like ways that I will be able to sustain myself, because I'm out here making it for myself.
Yeah.
Um, as we'll kind of get into in the topic, I don't want to go too far into it, but like I'm not worried, which is interesting. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is different. I have my feelers out. There was actually a young man who gave me an application to work for his job. And I was like, okay, let me fill that out, because that may be the way I go. I don't know. Um, and so there's a bunch of other stuff. I also used my creativity and came up with a plan. I was like, I live in a space where it's an apartment complex, and I kind of know quite a few people. So I knocked on all the doors. I gave out my Google Plus number, or Google Voice number. Is that what it is? Google Voice number. And I was like, yo, if you really need a ride, holler at me. Call me. We can make a deal. I will take you. I will wait at the store for you. I will bring you back. So I'm making it shake. I'm making it move. I should be more worried, or not should be, but I guess I would have been. Let me say that I would have been more worried in the past.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting mess. I don't know what it's gonna look like now. I still am cutting it on and seeing. I'm like, maybe the universe gonna come through for me in this way, but maybe not. Maybe I need to be free to be able to do whatever it is that is coming to me. So I don't know. That's the mess. I'm out here. I'm kind of floating, like, what is about to transpire? And I think that's the way I want to look at things from now on. Like,
Mhm.
okay, even a situation with my laptop. My laptop got messed up, and frustrated about it. It just hasn't reached that level that I know I've reached in the past, of stress and worry and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, I'm just like, is what is supposed to happen because of this? And now, because of this, there's a possibility of an upgraded laptop, and possibly not out of my pocket, So it's just all these things. I'm just trying to like incorporate all the things that I've learned from this year, which is, perfect for this topic. And kind of goes into it. But yeah, so that's my mess. It's lovely. It's interesting. It's I don't know what it
A
is yet.
mess.
It's a mess.
But
That's exactly it.
it's your mess, and
It
it
is.
sounds like it's a mess right now because of the uncertainty.
Yes. Yes.
So
Definitely.
it's a surprise, you know?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
don't know yet. And then, in a couple episodes, you're like, oh, okay, so this is what happened now. This is what I'm doing now. And
Exactly.
oh, that's why you have to reflect on things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Which
get
is
it.
great. Which is great. So, okay, we told you guys what the topic is. Now we'll tell you why this topic. Everybody, we'll let everybody know, Rena, why were you okay with this topic, or wanting to dive into this topic?
Okay. Well, because the year is ending,
Hmm.
2020 is coming to an end.
Rapidly,
Yes,
rapidly.
yes. I feel like, oh, it's been 2020 for about 20 years. And like we've been saying, it's good to look back and reflect on what we've done. It's
Hmm.
easy to miss. Jessica and I, we set intentions at the beginning of the year. And, even though we've been so rooted in the present lately, I think it's good just to take the time to be intentional about reviewing the past and look at
Right.
what we've accomplished. Because,
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, there's so much, it's so easy to overlook things.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I think for me, it's important to give recognition to where you were. It's important to see your growth or even stagnation because it's not always growth. And that's fine too. It's important to understand how far you've come and to give honor to yourself for being where you are, good, bad, or otherwise. And I think just taking that assessment um, allows you to move forward, whatever that needs to be. If it's in growth and you're saying, yo, I'm doing a good job of like letting stress go, continuing that. If it's stagnation, saying, okay, I don't like that I'm still where I was last year, and moving forward. If it's bad, taking one little step to move you in the opposite direction. So I don't know, just this reflection. I'm really grateful to have had this opportunity to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So we have an agenda for every episode called The Dick, and I will let Rena explain how we break that down.
All right. So our goal is always to dick it down.
Hmm.
And as some of you may know, and for those of you who do not know, that stands for define, impact, and cope.
Hmm.
So this episode, what we will do is provide our personal definitions of reflection.
Yeah.
Then define our reflections on our year and the intentions that we set at the beginning of the year for this podcast and just our lives in general. Then we'll go into discussing the impact of our reflections, of our intentions on our lives. Just go over what happened in 2020. Was it what we thought, what surprised us, what we learned, just, whatever we feel moved to share.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we'll talk about how we cope with our reflections and what we gained from our intentions. Um, we make each section clearly known throughout, so feel free to pause throughout the sections to give yourself time to answer if you want to. You can
Okay.
jot down your answers, your thoughts, just do what feels right for you. I mean, the whole premise is for us to kind of dig down these words and then have you follow along, and then we can all have our own definitions and, just kind of get to know ourselves better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so. I always love when you dick it down about what we're going to be dicking down. It's so beautiful. I hope you guys enjoy it also. So if you are following along, we are now to the definition portion, and I will start this out.
Oh, you gonna go
So
first this time, huh?
you know how I like to do. Don't be
Okay.
trying to act brand new. We 28 episodes in. You know
It's
the
about to be a new
deal.
year. I'm just getting an early start.
Oh, your bullshit.
New bullshit.
New bullshit. Same Rena. Um,
Yeah.
nah, I just playing. I just playing. But yeah. Okay. So we are to the definition. So for me to reflect is to think deeply or carefully about. And actually, that is how Google defines it, and y'all know I'm a fan.
Mhm.
I
Right.
agree.
Thanks, Google.
I was for a second. I was
Mhm.
like, let me not lie. But I do agree with that. Like, I do agree with that. I always personally thought to reflect was to look over the past and to see it, to understand it, and to grow from it. That's been my personal definition of reflection or to reflect. So I'm grateful for the chance to do this for our past year, this last year. This is like this is a really deep one, I feel like. Because this past year for me, my God, it's been spectacular. Anyway, as I think back over this last year, I'm in awe of the journey I've been on. Like realistically, when I like sit and think about it, I'm just like wowed, you know? Um, I listened to a couple of our older episodes, and as I listened, I remembered where I was this exact time last year. Like listening to it, it just brought me back there. I was heartbroken, saddened, and I was unsure of what was really next in my life. Even with the podcast, like I had no understanding of what we were doing or where we were going or where we were wanting to go, like nothing, like everything, and I do mean everything, felt very, very out of balance. And now, a year later, my perspective is totally different. Like, oh my God, I went for a walk this morning and I walked up a hill that 6 months ago was a bit of a challenge for me to get up. And this morning, I felt strong going up the hill, right? And that's not to say that it was easy. but I just felt stronger doing it. And that's how I feel about this year. I feel stronger and healthier and like overall just happier. I feel proud of the lessons that I've learned and the strides that I've made. Like, so that's, I'm really grateful that you brought this topic up because it just really allowed me to just sit in it. And I was like, damn, I'm doing the damn thing. If I have to say so myself, and I will, like, this past year has been I've been chugging along, making moves, So that's my definition. That's how I define reflection and what I have reflected on for this past year. What about you? What is your definition of
I just
reflection?
before I get to me, because
Uh-huh.
I'll be talking for a minute. I really like that the whole hill thing. I want to say analogy, but it's not. It's the truth. It's like
Yeah.
you struggled to get up this hill, and now you're not saying that it's still just like a mastery of it that you have now, or understanding, or just a strength that you've acquired
Hmm.
just by consistently doing it. And
Yes.
just how you tied that in. I just think that's really amazing.
Yeah.
And it
Listen, I
really does
was.
sound like what you've been going through. It's like, nah, it's
Mhm.
still uphill,
Okay.
but I'm moving along. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
up this hill. I'm gonna get to the top of this hill.
I'm gonna get to the top of this hill and I'm gonna breathe a little easier. Like, and that's what I was saying. Like, I wasn't just like jog. I didn't jog up the hill this morning. I did not. But I went a little quicker.
You don't
My
have
breath was a little smoother, but I still felt the work of my muscles to get up. Meaning, there was still a little bit of whatever. I'm still chugging along, but I felt strong doing it. I felt like an understanding of how my body moves, how my body wants to move up the hill. And I just felt this like lightness. Like this lightness came over me and I just chuckled. Like I just laughed to myself and I was like, my guy, you're happy. Like it was just like this feeling that just came over me. And I was like, yo. And I just laughed because I was like, it's not that I wasn't happy at all last year. You guys will remember some of the episodes. I had a lot of things that were still beautiful, but just wake up, be able to go for a walk and just feel an overwhelming sense of like joy. It was really incredible. It was really incredible.
that's dope.
Yeah.
So you feel
Yeah.
good.
I do. I do. I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, and that's the point. That's the point of like this podcast and all that
Hmm.
we're doing, and you facing
Hmm.
fears and you going up that hill. Is that
Yeah.
once you get over it, you feel good. And feel good going up. Like feel good
Yes.
knowing that you did it. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
and for
to
you,
me.
right.
Now to me. To me. It's my
To
time.
you,
My time
your
now.
time. Okay.
So, what is a reflection? God,
Hmm.
my definition, mine, is that a reflection is a mindful review of
Shady.
past events. Today I'm feeling a little way. It could be the
Um,
braids.
it's the braids.
Or it's me.
Ooh,
No, I am shady.
both.
um, so, and by mindful, I mean, reviewing things without judgment,
Hmm.
shame, doubt, fear, and all the human icky stuff that gets in the way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's this episode. I'm using reflection to review my intention for 2020, which was freedom. So I'm gonna get into that a bit.
Yeah.
Did you talk about your intention?
No, I didn't.
Do you want to?
I mean, we can let you finish and then maybe I'll tie it in. I didn't
Maybe.
say the actual thing, but yeah. But
Okay.
okay.
Okay. I can keep going.
Okay.
So like you, I listened to a few of our episodes, and that's been a really hard thing for me going back and listen to our episodes. I
Yeah.
never
Really?
really, but for this forced me to do that.
Yeah.
So I listened to our introduction and I listened to our intention episode, and I was
Mhm.
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought like the episodes were gonna be trash.
Damn.
And that just goes to show you like where I was like in my thinking then.
Yeah.
And so I was fearful. I was like, okay, let's listen to this. This is gonna sound like a disorganized mess because that's how I felt back then, like a
Okay.
disorganized mess.
Hmm.
But once again, my fears were unfounded, so that
Dope.
was good. So being able to reflect on that and just saying, wow, we sound good. We sound
Ooh.
organized. We actually sound like we had like an understanding of what we were trying to do. I had completely forgot that we had thought about it, and that we had planned and we had worked and that we used our brains and we did. And I was like,
Right.
oh. um we were on. I mean, it
Mhm.
was clear and concise, and I'm just really proud of us. Like just
Yeah.
doing that, overcoming that fear of listening to my own voice, because that's what it really is.
Okay.
And because I feel like when we were recording those episodes, I just felt like I was ranting and I was talking from a place that I couldn't even keep up with. And I'm
Okay.
like, oh, I was coherent. I didn't just people could understand the words that were coming out of my mouth. Wow, good job.
Wow. Wow.
That always happens to me when I record things or I'm like in front of people. Like, I don't know, I start talking from a place that I don't know. It's like a conscious me checks out and somebody else shows up. I don't know.
Okay.
So that was dope. That was dope
Mhm.
to reflect on that, to, kind of see that that fear wasn't even really all that, and that we really, really put in work from the beginning and we've been consistent
Mhm.
and we're doing it. We're going to continue to do it. And I'm just really excited about that. And it's made me, develop some trust in myself, faith in myself.
Okay. That's dope.
Right. Um, Let me see what else. Another thing that came up with the reflections is I was talking about the doubts that I had and
Right.
everything. So it just made me realize that even now I still have doubts, just
Of
like,
course.
it's still hard for you. I still have doubts.
Mhm.
And just reflecting has made me realize, okay, maybe these doubts, just like my fears, are also unfounded.
Mm.
It's like you keep doubting yourself and then you go and you listen to it like 8 months later, and you're like, oh, that was good. It's like I need to get to this point where it doesn't take me so long to realize, oh, you did good work.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Mhm.
Now to get to my intention.
Okay. Okay.
My intention for 2020 was freedom.
Yes, it
And
was.
each episode, I already called it. I said I didn't know how it would show up,
Yeah.
but and I didn't. And I know now.
Okay.
And I'm definitely free for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely free to do what I want. You know,
Right.
I'm free from work, from
Mhm.
relationships, from school. I just have so many options.
Yeah.
So many options. And that's how freedom showed up for me.
Mhm.
Freedom to choose. Free will. Free will. My free will showed up.
Mhm.
Um, Knowing that it's up to me to choose and that I wasn't really bound all along. I was free. I was
Mhm.
free all. That's what I realized. Like I
Mhm.
said, I wanted freedom, and I just and just in reflecting on everything that's happened over 2020, it's because I didn't want to make decisions. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's why
Mhm.
I captive. And I actually said it. I said that I felt held captive in life, and I didn't, and I had in a life that I didn't want, and I didn't ask for, and
Mhm.
I just set myself free. And now I realize I had the keys all along.
Yeah.
Was scared.
Mhm.
I asked deep down inside, knew that this is what I needed, that I had to learn how to be more decisive.
Yeah.
And one thing I hate more than carrots is making decisions.
Not carrots.
I hate carrots, but I hate decisions more. But I'm starting to like both of them actually, carrots and decisions.
Wow.
Right, yes. Also communicating. That was the thing that came up. Communicating and making decisions.
Mhm.
I struggle with explaining myself. I like to because then I'll have to make a decision. So I freedom has showed up for me as me making decisions and just sitting in it.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
So that's been my reflection that I was free all along. I just refused to make the decisions required to feel free.
Wow. That is that is beautiful. The tools and the keys were in your hands all along. You just had to use them.
Right. I just love how the universe always puts a little spin on it. Couldn't just, okay, just make everything free for the year. Like here's some free money.
That to me
It's
made
like
no sense. Because you still wouldn't have been free. You would have had money and you would have still been held captive by your own indecisiveness. So then you wouldn't have been free, you know?
Okay.
Like the universe got to teach you things. And I'm saying this to me also, obviously, but sometimes we don't hear.
I know I don't hear.
And we don't perform and we don't live and we don't thrive and we don't do all these things. But man, that's really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's been a thing. It hasn't been it's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rougher than I want to let on.
Mhm.
But it's also been very rewarding and validating and freeing.
Yeah,
Yeah, freedom comes at a price. It ain't
it
free,
does.
but it is free.
I was just about to say, or is it?
Or is it?
Oh man, that's really incredible, though. I'm glad you took the opportunity to look back and recognize what asking did for you, and also recognizing the hand that you had in it. I think sometimes when we talk of the universe and we talk of, we talk of the like celestial beings, we talk of the divine, we oftentimes don't give ourselves credit for the work that we are actually doing. So I'm happy to hear you say that you had the tools all along, and like that's really incredible. I think that can go for me, for us, for all of us listening. Like it's really dope. It's really dope. Yeah. Yeah. And are you complete? Is that everything of your
That
reflections,
is
or
that is everything for now.
okay?
Do you want to add anything to your definition, or you?
I can put it in the impact. So and that's
Okay.
and that's where we are now. We are
Oh,
to the impact if you're following along. Um, so I will say now that my intention that I set last year was to thrive, and I can, without a shadow of a doubt, say that this year has been a thriving year. And I look forward to my life continuing that. I want each time that I set an intention for those words to stay with me so that the growth that I have felt this year continues on. And I am just building upon that growth each year. Um, and I think the impact of the reflection or reflecting over this past year of thriving in looking and seeing my progress, the impact is gratitude, you know?
mm,
Um, and that's the realest, wholest, simplest word that I can say is that I am just grateful. Last year, this time, I didn't know what the future would look like or would hold for me. And that was a frightening thought. Um, this year, I still don't know.
I was about to say you still ain't got a clue.
But I see it. It's different
Mhm.
how I view it and how I see it. I see it now as endless possibilities. Last year, the thought of not knowing and being so uncertain was just so tumultuous. It was just very stressful. There was just knot in my stomach, and I'm like, oh my God. And now I'm like, yo, I really don't know what could happen. The universe is wide open, has endless possibilities. There's endless doors. There's endless things that could be provided for me, given to me as exploration, because I don't know, and because I am open to the idea of not knowing and being like, I am up and I am game for all the beauty and all the blessings and all the things that the universe wants to provide for me. So like. I looking back over everything, like I see I moved in the midst of the pandemic, and I was still able to save some money. Check your girl out. I started my life over essentially, and I've made new friends and acquaintances, and some little flirty things. You know, like I desired meaningful with my talents, but I had no real outlet. And now I have a successful podcast. I have a callback for a musical, and I've been honing my writing and singing skills with other musicians that I've met. Like I feel full and I feel grateful and strong and blessed beyond my wildest dreams. Like honestly, the impact of me starting over and seeing myself flourish is that I am no longer so fearful of what's next. I'm able to stand in the understanding that what is for me will be. It may not look like how I thought, but it will surprise me in the most glorious ways. Like, I don't know, literally just thinking back to last year and sitting in the feeling. Like I said, this morning I went for my walk and I was just reflecting on that. And I thought about last year and how I felt. Like I just didn't know, the uncertainty was through the roof. And that went for so many things. But now I have all these beautiful things that have made themselves known to me. And like I said, the impact overall is just gratefulness and gratitude. So I don't know. It's been awesome. Like I said, I'm really grateful to have this episode to like think back on it and see like, whoa, you know?
It's so amazing. I'm reading this book called what is it? It's actually like right behind me. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Uh-huh.
And one thing, she talks about is Susan Jeffers, Dr. Susan Jeffers. Let me say this lady's name right. I was right, Dr. Susan Jeffers.
Okay.
And she was talking about how fear is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I think one of the mantras, the first one is that there's always going to be fear if you continue to grow. So, and like, so when you were talking about how the uncertainty, like just not knowing and how you felt so just like anxious about it. And then now you're like, it's still like that, but there's like a calm in you. It just makes me think of that you have stepped into your power and you have changed how you view the situation.
Yeah.
And it even sounds like you're leaning on gratitude to kind of help you keep going. It's like fear isn't the issue. It's like you just had this inner transformation. And I think that's what it is. We're waiting for this external transformation.
Yeah.
But really it's an internal transformation. It's how you see things, how you deal with things, how you step into your power and build your strength.
Yeah.
And I think that's just incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I'm not kidding. This year I came out of the door swinging. I said, I know that I am in a really horrible place. This is the worst place I've been in my adult life. But I didn't want to go through that much turmoil and heartbreak and sadness and fear without making some sort of transformation. I just thought it didn't serve me to just sit here in this pain and let it do nothing. Like, nah. This gonna transform me. I mean, I think the thing is that just recognizing that all the things that I went through, the turmoil, the heartbreak, the fear, all of those things, like I came out of the gate recognizing like, I'm not going to let this be it. I'm not going to let this not change me for the better. I'm not going to let this not help me to grow and see myself and really explore the meaning of like who I am and what I want and how I'm going to get there. Like, it was scary and it was heartbreaking and there were a lot of tears and there's still tears. Shit, I just cried at Thanksgiving. But it's just about knowing that better is coming or better is here and being appreciative of that now,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Vibe with that. Vibe with that strongly.
Yeah. What about for you? What has been the impact for you?
So the impact of reflecting on all of this, like I said earlier, it's good to see how the universe has showed up for me and also how I've showed up for myself.
Yeah.
I want to give myself credit here. There's just so much that I forgot or I took for granted.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I accomplished a lot this year.
Yeah.
I completed a networking IT class. I passed one of the certifications.
Ow.
Right? I realized beyond the benefit of a doubt that IT is not for me.
Damn.
It's one of those. It was one of those career paths that I had when I went to college. When I got my bachelor's, and one of those things I would ruminate over. When I chose to be a social worker, which was great, and it fit me. But then in that lunchroom, after dealing with a difficult parent or a difficult situation, I'd be like, man, I really don't think I like people. I should have done,
I'm so sorry.
And no. It's okay. 2020 was me saying, I'm just going to try shit and see how it works out. So I tried it. I made it through the class. Probably halfway through, I was like, I hate this, but I gotta finish things, and I
Right.
finished it. And I just know it's not for me, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that was good for me to do and experience. Like I'm so used to doing things and feeling like it has to be successful, meaning it has to
Okay.
be I have to get paid for it, or it has to lead to money somehow, and then
Hmm.
that means it was successful. No, it's very successful,
Hmm.
and that now I don't have to worry about ever doing this again because I don't want to, and I know I don't want to.
That's
I don't have to
incredible.
worry about it. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry. Another great thing, we consistently produce content for this
Did we?
podcast. I mean,
Oh.
consistently, like we didn't skip a beat
Yeah.
and added more and more on top of it. First, we said we're just gonna do an episode. Then next thing you know what? We should do an after podcast. And then next
Yeah.
thing you know, we should do live events, and we did. We did 2 live events of our
Hmm.
own, and then we were even asked to present at an event that was completely independent of us,
Yeah.
at the recommendation of one of our listeners.
Thank you.
Uh, yes. So, and we did that.
We did.
And that was for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's one thing to do this on, my page, but then to do this and bring somebody else into it, like, I'm proud of myself for stepping into that fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like this should pay me for plugging this book. She doesn't know I exist yet.
Oh, you better put that yet out there. Come through.
Right? Um, what else did I do? I grew my hair long enough to get these braids.
How?
Right? Because I wanted to cut it so many times. Like I grew this from nothing. I had waves at the beginning of this.
From
Waves.
nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Grew this shit from nothing. From
Uh-huh.
scratch. From
Uh-huh. Not from scratch. Hell no.
I posted my poetry on IG. I shared it with you guys.
Mhm. You
Um,
did.
like I've just done a lot and I stretched myself a lot, and it's good to remember that. So that's been the impact. I
Yeah.
really, you know, um, and if that wasn't enough, I had a roof over my head the whole year,
Yeah.
something to eat. I've traveled. I still buy a shoe here and there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I survived the pandemic. I did well during the pandemic. So just reflecting on all of this is giving me another source of gratitude, like you said.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to use these forays into the past to torture myself like I'm used to doing. I
Hmm.
want to look back and see how far I've come, and just listening to the episodes and just kind of seeing where I was. It's just it's amazing.
Hmm.
I Another piece of it is that I had a lot of wisdom that I thought I forgot, or maybe I
Okay.
did. Like I dropped a lot of gems in these episodes.
Hmm.
The intention episode actually, like, I remember saying that we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to be vulnerable with ourselves. We need to own our feelings and our emotions.
Hmm.
Uh, that we need to be the most important person in our lives, to be our own priority.
Right.
It's going to be uncomfortable, but then on the other side of fear, there's joy and all
Yeah.
of that. And what's amazing is that I felt like I deep down inside, I remembered all of that.
Hmm.
Um, and I was intentional and I leaned on that this year.
Yeah.
That that's the big takeaway. All of that I just said, I
Hmm.
actually applied that to my life
Look at
without
you.
knowing it. Like I guess it just became a core value, a core belief.
Hmm.
But I was operating from a different place. So with reflecting on that, it was good to let me know that I can trust myself to have me even when I don't realize it.
Wow. Hmm.
So that goes back to what I said before about building faith in myself. I think I've just really been building faith in myself.
That's beautiful. That is
Yeah,
beautiful. That.
me too.
Ah, look at us growing up.
I know. I'm here. I'm really trying. I'm not cancel that. I'm doing. I'm
You
doing.
better say that. Okay.
Being actually. Let's take it
Oh,
stuff.
oh
Being.
my. She's being out here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I think we are, or was that everything of your,
um. Yes. Yes.
yes. Are you sure?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are you certain?
I am certain.
Okay, you had a look of confusion on your face. I was very concerned. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still following along, which we thank you for, we are now to the cope. And we're going to say how we cope. So I'll say, how do I cope?
Mm-hmm.
I cope by relaxing a bit,
Okay.
by not stressing every time something appear to go or to be going according to plan. By recognizing that I am divinely guided and cared for, I cope by actually saying those things to myself. Like, I know this is scary, but you will be okay. Or this may be for the best in the end. I cope by holding out hope that better is out there, even if I can't see it. I cope by having faith. I cope by having faith. And that is huge for me.
Mm,
I never really understood faith. I grew
mm,
up in a very religious background. If you've been following along, you knew that. And they would say these things, and I'm like, but how? But why?
mm,
Because a bitch be having questions. But now I got a little bit of faith, y'all. And it is, wow. It is just, it is taking me, it has taken me this long to get there, but it is taking me further and further as I lean into it and just have faith that, you know, I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to just be okay and be relaxed and just to say, you know what? I don't have it all figured out. I don't know what's next, but something great is possible. It's a possibility. Looking at the positive and saying, you know what, it could be better than what I think it's going to be. Not necessarily like, oh, my job is doing this. It could be worse. Just thinking like, my job is doing this. It could be better. Perhaps this is an
mm,
opportunity for me to get better, to do better, to have room for something
yeah.
bigger and better than I could have imagined. It took me a while to get here, but being here is wonderful. And that is pretty much how I'm coping.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That faith piece, that faith,
Okay.
I that resonates with me because I when people say have faith, I remember one of my friends, she said that. She was just like, she's in the church. She was like,
Mhm.
you just have to believe, you just have to have faith. I'm like, what does that mean?
Right.
I was like, because I picked up this Bible and I read this and this sounds crazy. And she's like, you
Uh-huh.
just gotta have faith. And I'm like, and people just they just say it. It's just this cavalier way. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, what does that mean?
Right.
And I realized that now faith is really just a personal understanding.
It is. It is.
So
That's beautiful. I'm glad you said that because it is very personal. And I know people say it very cavalierly, like you said, because sometimes I don't think, especially if you've grown up with this understanding of faith, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. Growing up
mhm,
with this certain understanding of like faith and religion and spiritual beings, you sort of take things for granted. You just say
mhm,
things. But I am grateful that I have had a personal experience to help me get to the understanding of what it looks like for me, because
mhm.
how I experience faith and how I experience the divine or spirit or God or the universe, it's going to be different than how you experience it. So even if I explain it to you, it may not look like that for you.
Mhm.
So yeah, but yeah, that's where I am. That's how I'm coping with this thing.
That's a good place to be.
It is. What about you? How are you coping?
I'm coping by being mindful.
Hmm.
I'm trying to focus on looking for things to be grateful for
Yeah.
and use mindfulness and gratitude as tools to keep pushing through fear.
Hmm.
And I feel like, from here on out, you know, I think I want to up the ante. I really want to make it a goal of mine to
Hmm.
face fears head on.
Okay.
So, I'm going to finish reading that book I just
She
told
really
y'all
do need to
about.
pay you.
She does. She does. I mess with this book heavy, and I've had this book for so long. And I think I'm at this point where I'm able to like read it and really receive it. And actually,
Okay.
maybe I'll say it in the shout out section, but I got it from a friend,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, I can see how this book has been working in her life. So
Yeah.
yeah, let me just go ahead and just read, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm finished reading that book. I'm gonna tussle with fear a little bit and just see
Mhm.
if I can collect, that joy on the other side.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just at this point where I'm just really tired of being scared. I
Yeah.
thought it was about being safe, and because you would think that avoiding fear equals safety, right?
Right. It
Nah,
doesn't.
fear is still there. Fear
Yeah.
is still there. It's just always gonna be there. It's like I
Mhm.
just gotta learn how to get through it.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm trying to do. And that avoidance is what holds me back. And I think that was the epiphany when I did this section. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's what
Mhm.
was holding me captive. That avoidance, that refusal to make a decision. So
Mhm.
yeah, avoidance. I need to do the opposite of that if I want to remain free. So that's just kind of like, just run into fear. Just face it head on,
Head on.
acknowledge that it's gonna be there, say, okay, cool, cool. We're gonna do this together then.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's gonna be me
And
and you.
like when you think about it, sometimes fear is like a mirage. You
Mhm,
run there and it's not anything. It's
mhm.
not where you thought it was going to be. It's not as, this huge like thing. You get there and you're like, oh, we actually did well in those first couple episodes, even though you were
Right.
fearing the worst. And that's not to say I don't want to belittle, our fear response because it does in some instances keep us safe. You
Mhm.
see a fire, you don't run into that be afraid. That could kill you.
I
Um,
mean, some
but
people need to. No, I'm just kidding.
listen,
Some little kids or some adults, you say don't
need to
touch that.
run
It's
into
hot.
fire
They just need to like tap it a little bit. Just a bit. Oh yeah, that is hot.
to
I'm like,
believe
you
it's
need to
hot.
know. Yeah, like if you need to know for yourself, I think I'm one of those people. Like you said,
Yeah.
hot, y'all weak. It's okay. It was hot.
Oh
I
my God.
it was hot. I get it now.
Wow. But no, I think that's the thing is like just recognizing that sometimes there are responses in our bodies that are healthy. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that at all times run into your fear, but I do think a lot of times it is unfounded. And like you're saying, running towards that and giving yourself the opportunity to see over and over again, like, yo, it's not what I
yeah,
thought. It's not what I thought. And that's kind of where I am right now with this job
yeah.
situation. Like if this was 6 months ago, baby, that stress would have been through the roof. And right now I'm just kind of like, you know, I would like to have some more stability,
Right.
but maybe that means I need to just relax so that I can be ready for the next opportunity. Maybe somebody's about to offer me an amazing role. And because I'm so rested and relaxed, I can just go in it with full fervor.
Right.
And I'm just calling out to the universe like, listen, come through for sis, come through for me. Because I believe in you, I got faith in you, and I'm just going to be here until you show up because I know you will, you know?
Right. That is faith. That is really what they want us to feel.
Hmm.
That right there, just I know
Hmm.
you got me. I know you got me. But you really got to have your own relationship with sorts to
Yes,
get there. So that's
agreed.
that's that's dope. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah. You wide open for opportunities.
Wide open spaces. That's me. I'm wide open. Okay, that could be taken a lot of ways, but I just mean for opportunity, pleasure. Oh, okay. Then I'm just gonna keep on going with it. You know what? Just y'all never mind me. Never mind me. Are we to the recap?
Are we?
Are we?
Are we? You
Are
done?
we? I'm done.
Are
Are
we?
you done?
The arms wide open and all this shit.
Oh, that's a good one
I know.
too.
That's exactly shirt open. Just
You got issues. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're to the recap now, and this year has left both Rena and myself feeling gratitude.
Mhm.
We have both been on a journey and have been given incredible lessons that have handed us our understanding of both ourselves and the world. Overall, this look back has been beautiful and powerful, and it seems we are both where we asked, hoped, and prayed to be. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, we asked and we were given, it seems like.
We were
I was
given.
able to thrive and you have been given freedom. And it's looked a myriad of ways for both of us. And so, but gratitude is really the number one thing that we're both feeling. And so I hope that when you guys join us Sunday, you can tell us how your reflections have been, what you're experiencing, how you're coping. We always look forward to hearing from you guys. And now we'll do a shout out. We'll let Rena shout out the friend who gave her that book.
Yes, I want to shout out to Nat because
Okay.
you I think lit this book to me probably like 5-7 years ago, and
Ma'am, that is now your book. Wow.
it's definitely my book now. But you never asked for it back, and
Ah,
well, she said, "Oh, I used to have that book somewhere. I think I lent it to a friend." I was like,
You didn't say that? You didn't say that to me? Oh
No,
my God.
I was like, yeah. You lent it to me. Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. You know,
That was her hint. She want her book back.
you know what? When I finish reading it, which will be soon, because I will finish reading it by the end of this year. I'm at this
Dope.
point where I'm ready. Even the book just itself was scary. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the most colorful thing in the world. It's just
Yeah.
like this don't really look like a book. Yeah,
Yeah.
this don't even look like a book you really want to read.
Right.
But something just said, you know what? Fear showed up. You got to do something about this.
Mm.
Look at that. Overcoming fear.
Yeah.
Let me see what she's been reading. So
All right.
shout out to her. Shout out to, and I hope this is, I should have done my research, but I'm fighting the fear. I want to say it's Akila Copeland. She's the
Mm-hmm.
person who recommended us to the Transcend Fear event, one of our
Yes.
listeners. So I want to say thank you so much for thinking of us, um,
Yes.
to recommend us, and just thank you so much. You
Yeah.
have yeah, what that opportunity and just the recommendation itself, just the thought, what it's done for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. That was going to be my shout out, but I'll just say ditto also. Um,
Like, get double the shout out.
Yeah, double the shout out. I mean, it was really incredible to have been thought about, and to be allowed to be in that space and to really grow and to have the opportunity to do that. This is kind of where we're leaning. Like I said at the beginning, or in one of my segments, we didn't know where this podcast was going to go, and now we have an idea. We have some things that we're shooting for. We have some things that we're bringing you guys soon, and just really given the opportunity to try it and say, okay, this is what we want. It's been really beautiful. And I also want to shout you out as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think we're gonna head to the meditation now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Favorite part, or definitely favorite.
Yes. I think it's all of our favorite parts. If I'm not, I mean, this is what I've been hearing. No, I ain't gonna speak for y'all.
Oh,
This is
okay.
my favorite part. I'll just speak for myself. What we do, if you're new, we take a couple deep breaths. We set an intention. We take another couple breaths, and I let you go about your day. So, what I want you to do is take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take one more deep breath. All right. Now we'll set our intention. My intention is to continue to have faith, to continue to lead with gratitude, and to continue to be open to endless possibilities.
Oh, that's nice. My intention is just to continue to reflect on the things I've done, and give myself praise and grace for it, and continue to build on my sense of self and faith in myself.
I love that. We'll take our last set of breaths. Take another big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last deep breath. All right. Our intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish this. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So, Liz, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in again. We really appreciate your continued support, your love, all you guys leaning out, telling your friends about us, posting us in your stories, helping our followership. I don't know, helping our followers, the numbers go up. We're grateful for it all, honestly. I'm grateful for it all, and I really appreciate everybody who continues to hang out with us on our lives. Speaking of, join us Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. What's my time? Pacific Time. Pacific time. Jesus Christ. Pacific. If I can get it out.
Pacific time.
It's a specific time. Y'all gotta be there. But no, I want you guys to continue to be on the lookout. Rena and myself have gotten together and we have some really amazing things coming for you guys. I want you guys to be on the lookout. Those things should be here soon. We're giving ourselves deadlines and pushing ourselves to get it out to you, some really incredible things, merchandise that you could wear and use and tell your friends all about. So please continue to look out for that. And when that comes, y'all post, tell your friends, tell your family. And I think that's it. Is there anything else that we need to tell the people?
No. I think
Oh,
you covered it all.
okie doke. Well, if that's everything, then we're going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I
It's a
can't
mess.
sing.
It's okay. He's gonna talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.